Hey everybody, we are back here at Ocean Shores. You know, this is where Sandy's sister lives. Sandy has a house down here, and there's a lot of activity that goes on down here, and we're here to document some of it. So yesterday I was supposed to be here. I got delayed. I couldn't come till today, but they found something really very interesting yesterday. And Matthew, why don't you tell me about how you found this? What happened yesterday?
So Sandy and I were across the street just kind of looking at things for about 30 minutes and came back. The car was parked here, and we noticed back here there was a hole in the brush. So we were, let's go check it out. Came back here, walked over this way, and ended up finding a stomach.
Okay. So
it was kind of raining. We'd been outside for a little while, and then just last minute, instead of getting in the car, came back here.
So it was just a spur of the moment thing that you even came over here.
The only thing that we could see from the car was just this hole here in the brush.
Just that tunnel.
We wanted to kind of see what was back here, and ended up coming back here and looking around and started noticing all of this fur. And what was right here was a stomach. All of that was inside the stomach.
Wow, it must have burst. You can still see where there's some of the stomach is there, and the fresh fur, and some fresh fur over here.
I was looking at the fur, and Sandy kind of walked, it looks about 60 feet this way.
Yeah.
And yelled to me from over there. I found the body.
Oh my goodness.
So you can see still chunks of
meat from where the fur and the meat were ripped.
Yeah, that's really fresh.
Look.
Yeah, that's literally meat.
I mean, we were here yesterday at about noon, so at about 24 hours ago.
Okay.
Those salau, see the salau?
Oh yeah, they've been pushed out.
Pushed this way.
Yeah, they were dragged. Yeah. Something came through, maybe jumped out of there and just ambushed the deer. Wow, okay.
And it's interesting they gutted it here. I mean, you can, there's not a big sign of a struggle, but there's bits and pieces of
fur.
And they gutted it here.
And yesterday there were some intestines here.
Oh,
that's gone now,
that
huh?
little bit of intestines gone.
Huh.
Ugh.
Okay.
And then you could see how it was drug over through here.
Follow the fur trail.
There was a little trail.
Oh yeah, there's some fur there.
You can see how it's drug through here.
Okay.
And then, so we started looking for, oh wow, look at that today.
Totally moved.
Yeah,
so it's moved. Okay.
And so there's the print right here.
Oh wow.
There's the toe. See how it comes around there?
Yeah,
it was 10 inches from toe to heel. And I think it was like 3.5 or 4 inches wide. And you can see how it, drug the leg through there.
Oh yeah.
And the poo.
You can still see the drag marks back here.
You can actually see the outline of where it was. The deer was here.
Okay.
Wow, there's
right there.
Right, yeah, you can kind of see a line right there where the deer, it was laying this way. So now when we got here today, it was like this.
Okay, now I'm going to focus in on some gruesome stuff here, folks. So if you can't take it, look away now. Here's the remains of the deer. Okay, you can still see how fresh this is. Look where one leg was ripped out of the socket there. This one here appears to be twisted, and the skin is ripped back.
Like a chicken wing.
Yeah. Over here, the head was literally ripped off. The ribs were broken. The two front legs are both gone. It also appears that there was another older kill right here beside it. So yeah, that head was literally just snapped off.
See the neck area of the spine up there? That was kind of, see, that's been ate on.
Something's been eating this.
It's probably had raccoons and things feasting on it overnight.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how that was just broken right there, that rib?
Yeah,
and
it's like it was punched. And the heart and the liver, you said, were out?
They're all gone. They were gone yesterday. The entrails, there were a pile of entrails, and on the other side, it's a solid rack of ribs.
Yeah, there is still
a little bit, but not like yesterday, huh?
Jesus. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I was thinking Wednesday we might check it, but it might be almost totally gone by then.
Wow. Yeah, you can see how that has been pulled right out of the socket there.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
When you look at her film from yesterday, it's
Poor
really
thing.
taken on a transformation, I think.
Yeah, well, you got to figure raccoons and stuff have been out here feeding on it overnight.
Looks like a fish
At midnight. Yeah,
without a head.
nasty.
To be able to pop that head off like that, how much strength are you talking, you know?
Even to dislocate those legs.
Yeah. Oh, I tried yesterday to pull the hoof, and I couldn't even get the toes hardly to separate.
Wow.
And like, so just to take the force of popping that thing out like that so cleanly.
Wow.
But just a regular person, you can't pull that apart
No.
like that. No, it takes a lot of strength, you know.
Yeah, you're trying.
And I mean, let alone one, but you're talking 3 legs.
Yeah.
3 legs
Yeah.
popped off, and then the head popped out of that neck of the spinal cord like that.
And the hole punched in the ribs.
Yeah.
Punched.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it looked like to me,
And
Barb?
the ribs missing.
Reach in and grab something out of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too.
What I
That's
said. Just reached in,
Grab
took
the
it's on
heart,
the left
grab the
side,
liver,
maybe punched
grab-
to the left,
Great
took the heart.
protein.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
wow.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's in close proximity to the fence area, so that's where we had a lot of action before. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we were here. Was it last year or the year before
Year
we came out?
before.
Year before? What I think is really cool is it obviously was ambushed right there. You can see where the weeds are pushed down,
Yeah.
where it was first attacked.
I know it.
That's really
And it
something.
wasn't a big struggle, so it was like it just grabbed it, snapped it,
Done
gutted
fast.
it,
Real
gutted
fast.
it there, and then drug it over there to
Yeah,
harvest
probably
the
with a
rest
little more
of it.
sheltered area to
Yeah.
do what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just a few, not even a block from your house a couple of years ago where there was a woman reported seeing a Sasquatch attack a deer.
Yeah. It was killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to break its neck.
So do you remember how that story went?
It's on the BFRO website, I believe, but it was a daylight, and I think she heard something, and she looked out and saw a forest person in the empty lot that had a deer, and was trying to kill it.
So the deer was
And-
still alive when she first saw it?
Evidently, it was still alive, and she actually yelled at it, and it stopped. It looked at her, and it went back to snapping the neck of the deer. It ripped it in half, I understand. It took half of it with it and went off into the tundra. And she called the city, and they came out, I think, the next day and picked up the rest of the carcass.
Wow.
But I understand she was so traumatized by it, she doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah.
No, I can
imagine.
understand that, yeah.
I wouldn't want to see him
But
kill
just
a
by
deer
going
either.
by that description, that basically fits.
Yeah.
Leaves a carcass that is
Yeah.
like what we have here.
Right. They only want the meat, you know, the high protein.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're going to go through first.
Yeah.
There was no blood other than the hair and the chunks of meat out here and the hide. There was not like,
Yeah,
it was not a slaughter. It
There's
was
no
quick.
spatter, there's no
Yeah.
puddles, there's no coagulated
Yeah.
chunks of anything. It's
It
no.
was gross. But it was very interesting to me that, you know, if that's where it happened, and it looks like it was, that they gutted it here and then took the meat over here because you don't want to contaminate.
Yeah.
Isn't that smart?
It is.
I mean, that's
And
brilliant.
the
I mean,
stomach was still intact when you found it.
It was. It had a little hole in it, and it's in one of the videos I posted. It had a little hole in it, but it was still full. And when we walked up there, it looked like an unusual rock. I don't know if people know what we call them sand babies here. They're real small, and they're hard sand. They're like a rock. It looked like that, but it was big. And I was like, wow, that's an unusual rock. Not thinking anything. And so we went on to the hole. We would just walk right by it. And then we were like, wait, look at all this hair. Look at all these chunks of meat. And then Matt was going to go put his foot on it, on that stomach. And it was like, oh my God, what the hell happened here?
Wow.
Somebody's stomach. And it's fresh because it was full of that green grass bush. And so it's like, well, where's the rest of the body? And so we started looking, and I happened to walk over there, and I was like, Matthew, here it is. And I was like, oh my God. And so it was funny because we were looking at it and taking pictures and doing our little investigation stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, we got to get a hold of Judy and Dwight. And then we heard a truck come by, and we looked, and it was Dwight's truck.
Was it?
I was like, run, get him!
How's that for
I was
synchronicity?
Like, oh my God! I was like, come here, you have to see this. This is crazy. This is not a hunter. This is a kill.
Yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy.
That's a meal right there. Something.
That's
And you know,
amazing.
whatever came back last night, I would imagine there were raccoons that were out here feeding
Yeah.
on it and moved it. That's probably
Yeah.
how it got moved around.
Yeah. We came back by here twice. We were out until after midnight last night. It was a beautiful evening, really warm. It's amazing. And we came down here twice with our thermals and night vision, and we didn't see anything. This whole area was so quiet. So whatever happened was after midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, or in the early hours of the morning when it got moved. But you know, they're going to scavenge, and that's
Yeah,
what it is. So
it
it'll be interesting
happens.
to see how they're going to keep an eye on it to see how long it takes to decompose and be gone.
Okay.
Which I think is a great
Oh
experiment. in
yeah,
itself.
that's really cool.
Good information, right?
Yep. And you know,
Yeah.
it's obviously this is a spot that has been used before.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's
'cause
an old carcass.
that's an old one that's beside
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the highlight of the weekend so far.
So far.
So far. Yeah. Last night when we were doing our night walks, we went to 4 or 5 different areas, and there were a lot of owls, and then the low guttural, whatever it was, rolling R's, low guttural.
So you were telling me about this
So it's
earlier.
kinda
Why
cool.
don't you tell me the story again for the camera
About the
about last night?
Well, so what we did is because I believe there's a thoroughfare, and we've tracked all the sightings and stuff, and so I have them on a map, and so we said, well, let's let the car do a lot of the walking for us.
Okay.
And so we're going to go to these 4 different areas, and we'll park down the road. We had our night vision and so we have a thermal and we had the night vision camera, and there were the 3 of us, and so we would just walk a loop where we have known sightings and from credible people. And so we did the first one, and Dwight started making little calls, and instantly he got responses. And then there were owls, and then as we continued to walk, they kind of came with us a little bit, which was
okay.
interesting. And then we came on around the other side of the road, and they came back down with us, which was interesting. But you could hear underneath these owl calls, there was this low, like a rolling R, like a kind of a guttural, like, you know. I was like, ooh, you deep and sexy. you know?
So it was a deep.
It was a deeper, and it was real kind of low.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was odd.
Wow,
And
that's
so
unusual.
but we couldn't see anything on the thermal. We couldn't get any heat signature up in the forest or in the trees. We were kept looking and looking. And with his, Dwight has night vision that is military grade.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
that is like walking in daylight.
Really?
It is awesome. Wait till you see this tonight. So it's really cool. But we could not, we saw deer, we saw raccoon, we saw little birds, but we could not find an owl in a tree. We could not see anything on the heat signature.
Wow.
It was crazy fun.
All right.
And then we went to the other areas, and it was really quiet. Yeah.
Wow.
So then we came back by here. We came by here twice, and then we went back over to where we heard the owls and tried to stir that mess up again, and it was quiet.
It
So
was
we
done,
said, okay,
huh?
time to go home.
Called
was
it a night,
midnight.
huh?
Yeah, we're good.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good adventure for one day.
It was fun.
Yeah.
too. We had a great
All
time.
right. Well, I can hardly wait to see what's
Yeah.
going to happen next. Yes.
So I think we're going to go over to the refuge this
Oh,
afternoon.
sounds
Go
great.
hike around, see what's back there. There might be some great
Perfect.
structures. We've never been in there.
That's awesome.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. Come on. Let's go.
Okay, short video. This is the carcass right here. This is Matt picking it up. That is the neck, and that is the side that is untouched. This is the punch through and ripping out of the heart. That's the skin that's left. That's just disgusting. That is the hip joint where the leg was pulled out of the socket, and that's the remaining leg with no meat on the upper thigh, and there's no bite marks that we can make out.
Okay, we are back. This is the next day. The carcass was discovered the day before yesterday. I was here yesterday to document it. And today we are back to see if any scavengers or anything else has happened. Did you see this yesterday? This is a piece of old rib bone here.
Yeah, we saw that.
So this has been used for a while. That's got moss growing on it. So,
The footprint's still there. String
Yep.
mark's still there. It's not.
no, it's the same as it was. We came by here in the dark last night and took a look, and it's still exactly as it was.
There's not much meat left on it. Just
No.
little nibbles for little varmints.
So, you know, yesterday it had been moved, and there were some people in the lot next door came over and were talking to us, and they said when they arrived they saw raccoons leaving this area. So it's pretty safe to assume that's how it got moved later on. And we went out exploring, did a lot of looking around yesterday, and never did find anything as far as the legs, the head. Somewhere in the thick bushes of Ocean Shores, there was probably a large stockpile of deer skulls and piles of legs. So, yeah, this is just the little opening here where something leaped out over these, pushed them down good, and got a deer. Cool. Well, congratulations on your find.
It was fun. Highlight of the weekend.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are alive and well in Ocean Shores.
Yes, they are,
Right?
and eating good.
And eating pretty good.
So, you know, we went on our night walks last night. We went by Sandy's sister's. We were going to just walk the neighborhood, and we came out and heard some owl calls immediately and started walking in that direction. They stopped. We didn't hear anything else. And what you said something when we first walked out and heard those owl calls. What did you say?
I said it was a distraction. Like, walk this way because we really should have walked the other way.
Exactly.
And I think we should have.
We should have, because it was after we heard just a moment or two of the calls, and they stopped, and we never heard a thing for, what was it, 2-3 hours we were out. And then we got back, and Sandy didn't have her phone with her.
I did not have my phone with me. I left it at home on purpose because I didn't want it, you know, every time somebody sends a message, it tweets and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm not taking it tonight. And sure enough, I think we even said, because Dwight's phone rang, remember? And we said, oh, check it because it might be Judy. They might be down by the house. And so he checked it. It was a call coming in from Spokane. So I think he turned his phone off.
Yeah, just so it wouldn't be beeping in his pocket.
Right. And then we get back to the beach house, and I'm looking at my phone going, oh my God, who's calling? It was Judy calling and texting, going, they are here hooting and whooping it up across the street, and we were out.
It was like an hour and a half before we got
my
home.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah, that was
someplace
it.
else by that point.
10:09 or
Yeah.
something. I'm like, oh no.
Right?
Yeah, we had even considered going back over there, and then you sent her another message, and she said no, it had been quiet for the last hour.
Hour. I was
Right?
like, damn it.
Damn, it's right.
So
Trying
yep,
to
they
find 'em.
distracted us in the wrong direction, and we fell for it.
Right?
Right.
And then her sister, who stayed inside and comfy cozy, got all the action.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So
Well, we
froze
got
our
the
asses off.
exercise in.
We
We
got
got
that.
that,
Okay.
That's true. Almost
Yeah.
7 miles yesterday. That was good.
Wow,
And
yeah.
we talked about, you know, was it, you know, can they hear, I mean, because we had the night vision and we had our thermal, and so it was the frequency. Did that deter them, or just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you
But
know,
we-
in times past in other places when we have thermal cameras and we have activity, the thermal cameras just won't turn
They
on.
don't turn on.
They
Yeah.
malfunction
Right.
until the activity stops.
We had one last night. Dwight's night vision went out
That's
once,
right.
but the therm still worked. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So
and then we
was
saw
odd.
that strange light.
That's right, we did see a strange light. Why,
yeah.
why don't you tell our viewers about that?
That was cool. You
That
told-
was
yeah,
cool.
that
We
was,
were just walking on a power line highway, whatever they're called, and road, and it was kind of windy and through the woods, and all 4 of us looked up and saw this light that was completely on, not like a glimmer of a light. It was a total light in the middle of the trail, and it went from like a higher setting to a medium setting to a lower setting, and then it turned off. And it lasted for, it wasn't
Several
quick. It was
seconds.
several seconds, at least probably 7-8 seconds, where we all registered it, looked at it, talked about it, and then it disappeared.
Yeah. And well, my first impression was it must have been a car had passed at the very far end.
Oh.
Well, once we started walking, we realized that there were enough bends in that power line that you wouldn't be able. There's no way you could see from one end to the other.
Yeah. I mean,
and we didn't hear anything.
No.
I mean, it was quiet. So
I did see a green flash of light out there on the way back, and at the far end there was like a trailer park or something, and Dwight said, well, that's probably one of the campers down there. And we kept walking and realized that no, where that green light had been was much, much closer to them.
It was definitely not from the road, the green light or the white light. This was like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
These lights.
It was interesting because it was like, well, maybe there's another party out here. Maybe there's some other people out here looking too. But we didn't hear any crunching. It wasn't even near a trail. They would have had to crash through the forest at that point.
And nothing was seen on the thermal cameras.
No.
And there were two. Dwight's is military grade, which lights everything up like day.
Exactly.
Yours shows any heat sources in bright red.
And we didn't see anything on that trail. I mean, but that light, the white light was... It was almost like an overhead light. It wasn't a flashlight. It wasn't a little like light floating in the air. It lit the whole trail up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did. Like it was in the middle of the road.
Yeah. And someone was adjusting a dimmer on it. Then it just went off. And then we got there and there was nothing there.
Nothing there. Yeah. And with the thermal cameras, you can look way down the road and see if anything, anybody had been there, it would have put out a signature that would have been easy to see.
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
weird.
Very weird.
It was strange,
Yeah,
the light was strange.
Yeah. And then the green light was
And then the green, it was a very bright flash of green,
green light there. So that was interesting too.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'd say it's been a successful weekend.
Absolutely.
It's been fun, for sure.
This is one of the best things we've ever found.
Well, it's a little gruesome, but it's extremely interesting.
It is.
Yes.
I think it's educational.
Lots of things pointing to not a regular kill.
You've had quite a weekend.
I know.
It's wild in the Pacific Northwest.
Sure is.
That's funny.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. It's been an awesome weekend. And
thanks, Barb. Thanks, Sandy. Of course, another great trip.
Love you guys. All right. And I hope my viewers out there aren't too horrified by the visuals.
We finally got an R-rated movie.
NC-17.
The first one that's going to have a warning at the beginning.
You should tell them they need popcorn for this.
A good set of ribs.
Barbecue.
Oh, no, I don't
Matthew
know.
says, if you would have told me ribs were on the menu after finding that, I'd be like, no, Sandy, we're going
I don't know about pizza either.
Going to the casino.
Right on.